Welcome to the Wholeness and Wellness podcast. I'm your host, Megan Dupes, founder of Libra Living Wellness Limited. And today is another episode of Real Talk Reflection where I share reflections and insights about my own personal wellness path. And today's theme or title is Inner Intuition, the quiet knowing that's waiting for you to listen. Um, so again, these real talk reflections are things that I kind of think about throughout the week or days. And I've really been thinking about intuition lately. Um, and when I think of intuition, I think of that quiet inner knowing that when something feels right, like, your whole body is like, "Yes," is like saying yes, and your whole body lights up and feels kind of electric, and, um, you just know without a doubt that it's the right thing, or it's the right thing to choose, or it's the right thing to do. Um, and I've been learning more to try to tap in to my inner intuition and to really um, learn to pick it out and listen to it better because a lot of times a lot can distract us from listening to that inner voice. And one of the first things I want to talk about is paying attention and being aware. Um, and I think a big thing with that is to practice slowing down. Practice, I think, quieting the mind as well so that we can listen to that inner voice or that soft awareness that is asking us to notice something. Um, and and to notice that shift within us. Um, I can think back of to moments where I think a lot of times I get to a point in my life where I force myself to quiet because I need guidance. And I'm like, okay, I need to know what to do. And I kind of do, like I say, force myself to be quiet, to slow down and listen to that inner voice. And when when it does happen and you pay attention, it's really awesome. Um, like I think of an instant recently where I was feeling very lost of what the next steps to do in my business. And I was like, okay, I really need some guidance here. And I think the universe or, external powers help this out too when you put this, but your intuition is a big part of it. And so I kind of put, okay, I need some guidance, what to do next. And I came across, I think it was a podcast episode, not my own. Um, and it really helped me to focus in, what do I want? What do I love doing? And it gave me some questions to help me reflect and really kind of tap in to that, I think, that inner tuition. And then it was just like everything became clear. And again, I felt that 100% this is what I need to be doing. So paying attention and just being more aware. And a lot of times we notice this first, um, noting, like kind of noticing a sensation before the mind jumps in, before our logic and doubt jumps in. I find with intuition, we kind of feel it in our body. first. Our intuition speaks to us through our body. Our body reacts first before our mind. And I kind of think of it in terms of that kind of that gut feeling, right? We feel it first in our body, and then it's like, to me, it like just starts to spread. And then we're like, yes, this is it. This is it. And I find when we feel our intuition physically, it helps us to also recognize that it's real. It's a trustworthy signal. Um, because again, we can let our minds can get very cloudy, and it's makes it really harder, and external factors and also internal factors makes it hard to listen to that voice within and our intuition. um so when we feel it in our body, and it could be anything, like I said, that gut feeling, or your body just starts to, like I say, kind of feel electric. um And you just know that, yes, this is what I need to do, or this is the right choice, or something like that. So, again, kind of paying attention, being aware, learning to quiet our minds, which is hard to do because I find for myself personally, and I'm sure others can speak to this, is that we're running on autopilot a lot of times. We're like, okay, we start our day. What needs to be done today? And we all have routines that we get into. And we tend to just put our focus there, and instead of taking that time for ourselves to reflect and to quiet our mind, and to again be tap into our intuition, tap um being more in tune with ourselves, so that way we can do things from like a different viewpoint. We can do things with, to me, a better mindset, um, and feel more confident in the things that we're doing. And this could be big things or small things. So this is something I find I really struggle with, because the and this kind of leads me to my next point, is that conflict between intuition and habit. I find we get stuck in routine, we get stuck with, or we let external or internal noise kind of make things cloudy, making it harder for us to tap in to our intuition. And that's where I've been struggling with. Like that's why I, came up with this idea for this episode, because I've been struggling with tapping in within, and listening to my inner voice to guide me, because I've been feeling slightly lost in what to do next. What's the next steps? So because I feel lost, I just throw myself into my work, and what I have planned for the day, instead of trying to be like, okay, why don't we take 30 minutes or an hour to sit down, reflect within, and listen to your inner voice. So I struggle with that. I struggle with that because it's easier to just throw myself into work, because sometimes it's a little bit harder to quiet down or slow down, and learn to tune in, because sometimes it uncovers some things that, oh crap, I don't really want to deal with that, so let me just throw myself into my routine, into my work instead. Because I find, to tap into our inner intuition, sometimes we have to, it uncovers some unwanted things, and we have to kind of push through some blockages, um, to better to be able to better like, to hear our inner voice better. I struggled trying to say that. Um, but yeah, I think that's what happens is that it's some things kind of come up in the way and you're like, "Oh, well, I don't really wanna deal with those things, so I'm just gonna focus on my work for today." And I do that a lot, okay? and I feel like more like lots of people can be like, "Yep, that's me too." And we just throw ourselves into what needs to be done that day instead of learning to slow down, quiet, reflect within, and be like, "Okay, let me listen to my inner guidance." And I think sometimes it is harder and challenging. That inner voice is it feels like a whisper. And there's so much noise going on, like I said, externally and internally, that it's hard for us to listen to that whisper unless we quiet down. But I do believe that sometimes our intuition does scream and yell at us, and it's like, "Oh, yes, this is it. This is it." So it's it's a combination of everything. I think it's again first learning to be more aware and knowing that we may have to dig through some unpleasant things or clear some blockages in order to really tap into that inner tuition. So, continuing on with that conflict that we face, is that a lot of times our intuition is saying one thing, but then our mind, our fears, our habits, our patterns, and our conditioning is saying something else. So I think that's where the noise comes in and kind of takes over and makes it a lot harder to listen to that inner voice. Um, so there's that conflict and there's that resistance that makes that struggle even harder to navigate. So, and I mean, those patterns and those habits we have, they're not wrong necessarily. They're comfortable. It's what we know. It's what we've conditioned ourselves to do or how to react. And like fear is a big part of that. I'd say for anyone. Um, especially like when I think of knowing what to do next in our lives. Like if we're, you know, making a big change or want to make a big change, we may feel a little lost and we're like, okay, well, what's the next step? And sometimes we think logically, okay, well, what's the next step? And that's great. That's not a bad thing. But I think a lot of times our inner voice, our and being more in tuned is more um thinking of what the next step is for our soul. What is going to light us up? What is going to make us feel electric and be aligned with what our soul and again, that's that inner voice. And I think that to me, our inner voice is our soul speaking and saying, okay, this is what is aligned with me, with my true self, with my values and all those things. Excuse me. So to me, that's what our inner intuition is. It's the inner voice that guides us to do things that is in alignment with our true selves and with our soul. And a lot of times, again, we have to push through the fears and the old habits that we have and sometimes deal with the uncomfortable things so that we can learn to better listen to our inner voice to guide us. Because again, when we do, it's such an amazing thing. Like you feel electric and you feel it in your body. Like to me, I feel like it's like I'm exuberating this bright, bright light. So when I'm tapped into my inner intuition, I am my true self. I'm acknowledging and in alignment with my values and with my soul. And to me, that feeling is just the best feeling in the world. Um, so it's like I said, it's something I struggle with, but when I experience those moments of clarity, when I'm really in tune with myself and listening to my inner intuition, it's moments of clarity, honest clarity. There is it's like those light bulb moments that you have where the choice becomes clear, the the you feel a peace about it as well. Now, I will say, kind of going back to that conflict, we had that moment happens and then our fears and you know, our logic and doubt start to creep in. And again, we kind of meet that conflict with between intuition and our habits and conditioning and fear and all that stuff again. But I think it's also important to keep that moment of clarity and that first initial feeling of yes, this is it. And when the fears and doubts start to creep in, remember that moment and those feelings so that way you can push those fears and doubts away. Um, because I think that's where also the struggle is too, is that once we know what our inner voice is telling us, sometimes it can be scary and because it could be like on you're on the verge of a huge change or you have to make a huge change in your life and obviously it feels amazing and it's exciting, but because it's unknown and where it's something new and it might be a little uncomfortable, then all that fear starts to kind of creep in and doubt that, oh, well, oh, I have to do this in order to do this. And well, what if it doesn't turn out that way? And that's why to me it's so important to harness those feelings of, yes, I need to do this. Um, like everything inside me is telling me yes to do this, right? And I love that feeling. And it could be something something really, really small, or it could be something huge. Um, like I've had moments recently, you know, moment of clarity of direction of what to do next in my business, and that was amazing moment. It felt amazing. But then yes, all my fears and doubts like, "Oh, well, just start to creep in and bring me down." I'm like, "No, I need to focus." Focus on these positive feelings and how that clarity, you know, ignited me and lit me up and those amazing feelings that you have. Um, and then I had those same things happen for something really small. Um, and it's just really cool to learn to tap into your inner intuition better. And I think of an example of this too is I think of the show Say Yes to the Dress, which I think is still on. I haven't watched it in a really long time, but These girls are trying on dresses, wedding dresses, to find the right one, and when they find the right one, it's like, "This is it, this is it." It's like a huge moment of light. People get emotional, they start crying, but they feel it in their body, and it's because they're feeling it in their body so much that this is the dress for me. It matches me and who I am. And I think there's deeper meaning to it, even though it's a freaking dress. It's just a dress. But it's because it's so much in alignment of who they are as a person and represents so many positive things that they are saying yes inside and yes in their body, and it's coming out, you know, with that excitement. Um, and that's the like I said, it's the most amazing feeling. Um, and I also think of you know, learning to trust and to choose the quiet truth over that loud familiar pattern. And trusting that feeling even before you have proof of something. Like I recently there's something I came across and I was or an opportunity that I was like, "Oh, this would be so awesome." And like inside I was saying, "Yes, I want to do this. I absolutely want to do this." And like, it's still like super lit up about this opportunity that I have. And I know that way back in my head, there's probably like, I don't have proof of it. I don't know if it's going to happen. It may not happen. And I could say, oh, well, it's probably not going to happen. But I'm so excited about it that I'm like believing that it's going to happen. It's going to happen. This is going to be amazing. And that's that's just to me the cool part is when you learn to tap into your inner intuition and you're listening to what your soul desires, your whole body is screaming, "Yes, this is it. This is something I absolutely want to do and absolutely something I need to do." Um and it's I just I'm feeling those feelings right now, and it's so amazing, and I I want that for everyone, like, even I experience it even when I'm creating content and I'm trying to word something, and, like, I'm like, "Okay, this doesn't sound right," and then when I get my words right, it hits the heartstrings, and to me, that is my soul saying, "Yes. This is it. This reflects what I'm trying to say." And I get emotional. Like I'm sitting here sometimes creating content and I'm like, "Oh, this doesn't sound right. This doesn't really sound right." And I'm like reworking it. And then it just hits. And I'm like, I start getting emotional. My eyes start watering. And I like kind of giggle to myself because I'm like, yep, this is it. And that is inner intuition. And I I hope that everyone gets to experience this and learns to tap into their inner intuition, learns to slow down, learns to quiet the mind and reflect and ask for that inner guidance because we all have it. It's just that we let the, like I said, internal and external noise kind of cloud it, and then we can't really hear it, and it's really quiet, but it's always there. It's always there. We just have to learn to tap into it. because it's always there to guide us. We just have to learn to quiet the noise and reflect inward and listen to our inner voice because it's there. It's there to guide us. It's there to bring us in alignment with our soul. And yeah, it's just an amazing, powerful thing. So I hope, um, you know, that you can get something out of today's episode and learn to just to tap into your inner intuition. And again, the more you do it, the easier it'll be. It is a struggle. Like I say, I struggle with it all the time. And some days it's great. And I'm like, okay, I know that I need to sit there and quiet my mind and slow down because I need that inner guidance. So I know that I need to do that sometimes. But it's learning to do it more and be better at it. So that way that inner voice will be easier to hear and you'd be like, "Hey, I'm not sure what to do about this." Okay. Then you know what's right and the answer will become clearer to you a lot more easily. So I hope you enjoy today's episode of Inner Intuition and I please subscribe, like, follow on Spotify and YouTube. I want to continue doing these podcasts. It's something, really important to me. And I hope that they are helping others as well. Um, some exciting news that some kind of projects I've been working on, and I think I might have mentioned it last time. I do now have a lot of content on Insight Timer. So it's an app where you can listen to audio courses and video courses related to wellness. There's guided meditations. So I encourage you to check it out. It's under Megan Toops. You can follow me there and have access to my content. I'm also working on a third online wellness program. I currently have stress support system, emotional ease elements, and my third one is balanced body blueprint. So that one will be up and available on the website by the end of this month. So I'm really excited about that. So please check out the website, www.libralivingwellness.com. And I thank you again for tuning in today's episode of Wholeness and Wellness Podcast. And until next time.